And this is Brandon.
And we watched BlizzCon last weekend, and I think it was awesome. Because, of course, the Burning Crusade was announced. It's going to be coming out soon. We already opted into the beta. And we're not going to be probably going hardcore into the beta, but we'll probably dip our toes into it and see, kind of reminisce about it.
And I don't know for sure, because I know some of them have and some of them haven't, but you may not be able to stream it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes beta will let you stream it, sometimes they won't.
If it allows us to stream, we'll probably stream some of it, but if you're watching the video, you'll see our Twitch handle. If you're just listening to it, then my Twitch handle is Heartland-PAE, all one word. Brandon's is Beepo_gaming, BEEPO_gaming. Alright, so today's episode, we're going to talk about the Blood Furnace. Now, to me, this is the second dungeon. Because, you got to run ramps. Then you got to, of course, do Blood Furnace.
Yeah, but you can do them in any. You can do ramps and Blood Furnace in either order.
Well,
but ramps is the bottom one.
Ramps is at 58 through 63. And this one, I had it brought up on a different one.
This one is I will tell you because I have it brought up.
59 through 68.
It can be finished by a party of level 60 characters, though it will take a more balanced group and or better geared and skilled players.
There you go.
So it can be done. It can be done by 60, but yeah, you're right. 59 to 68. You're correct. Yeah.
Blood Furnace is the second week of the Hellfire Citadel. The instance takes place above Hellfire ramps, inside of the tower that overlooks the ramparts themselves. The entrance is on the Alliance side of the Citadel, up a ramp that starts at map coordinates 4561. You come to find out in the course of the instance that is the Magtheridon is trapped by the Fel Orc's sorcery, and they're using his blood to manufacture a new Felhorn, infused with his demonic energy. The guiding force in this plan is Eladon, who is now the supreme ruler of Outland, after his usurping of Magtheridon. Now, the instance is around 1.5 times, twice as long as Hellfire Ramps, which Ramps is short. I think it's like 3 times as long, but and it has the same number of bosses. Like Hellfire Ramps, it can be finished by a party of level 60 characters that will take a more balanced group and or better geared and skilled players. The instance is substantially less difficult for solo farming than Hellfire Ramps, although with a corresponding lower gold yield. What I just read is exactly what Brandon had just more or less said, but a little bit more information on there.
Alright. As for some of the stuff you're going to face in here, one of the bosses, the first boss actually that you come in, is called the Maker. He is a fairly simple encounter. Actually, not even fairly. Really simple encounter. And if you're a level 60 character, you won't have trouble with him at all. Like a little guide on him, or just kind of like a little excerpt, if you will. A creature who uses the power of fell magic, normally or otherwise, slowly take on the appearance of demons. The Maker accelerates their corruption and performs cruel experiments on any who attempt to resist. So he's like a mad scientist going crazy. He has a couple of abilities. One is domination. He takes control of a player, and more or less just mind control. An exploding beaker. He throws a beaker at a player, inflicting anywhere from 875 to 1125 nature damage to all players within 8 yards of the target, and it knocks them back. So if one of the players gets a beaker, it should tell you if a beaker is being thrown at you. If you get it, just kind of run away from the group. Don't be near the group. He also has he has like 4 special abilities. Those are his 2 main ones. He does have a melee attack that will knock you up in the air if you're in melee range.
Yeah.
And it has a threat reduction on it. And then he also has an acid spray, which is like an AoE spray of acid in a cone. So flip him around. Don't let him face the party. He doesn't really hit particularly hard, so you can. I mean, he's a pretty fast boss. You can burn him down pretty quick. He's not that hard. He does drop 1 of 4 pieces of gear. I think it's 2 per boss.
I think so.
He drops a mace, 1 hand, 13.3 damage per second, 100 intellect, 17 stam, and 8 versatility. Requires level 61. He drops a waist piece, a male waist piece, 19 armor, 14 agility or intellect, depending on which one you use, 21 stam, 11 versatility, and 2 sockets.
What about if you're a hunter?
I think it's probably going to be agility. Prismatic socket, it has 2 socket slots, and you get 3 intellect if you use those. Iron blade gauntlets. It's got 37 armor, handpiece, plate, 14 strength, 10 agility, 13 stam, with 6 critical strike. It has 2 sockets. If you get both of those sockets, it has 31 parry, or 3 parry, I'm sorry.
That's a lot of parry.
Yeah. And then he also drops a neck item. It is a 19 strength, 14 agility, and 19 stamina. All these items are for level 61. And he also has a chance to drop a Libram that when you use your seals, it heals you for a certain amount.
Cool. Alright, then keep on going and you move on to Ragok. Now, he's the second boss. When first approached, he floats through the air on the far side of a gate with a lever in front of him. The encounter starts when lever is pulled, releasing 4 increasingly difficult waves of elite Felorks. Once each wave is defeated, or approximately 2 minutes has passed since the last wave was released, the next wave will come immediately. Once the 4th wave is defeated, the gate will open, and Ragok will come immediately. So if you don't have those waves down, yeah, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, and you got to really conserve mana here as well, because you don't get to sit down really and drink or anything. You never really get out of combat.
Hopefully you can burn each wave down pretty quick before the next one comes out, because you don't want 2 waves on you. Now, his ability, if prison orcs activated, the cell door opens and 4 orc prison cells in succession. The Felork Neophyte has Frenzy. Felork Neophytes enter Frenzy, increase their attack speed by 60% for 2 minutes. And they also have Charge. Felork Neophytes have Charge a player, inflicting physical damage. Uncontrollable. Felork Neophytes ignore threat, attacking any players they choose. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they do, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Also, you will be able to see which doors are going to open next. I do believe it kind of shows you. So, but after you run it about 3 times, you'll know exactly which order they go in. Yeah. Same order.
Now, Ragok has a slime spray. He sprays slime, inflicting 700 to 900 damage to all players in front of him. So you have to take, turn him away from everybody else. Poison Cloud. He creates a poison cloud beneath him. The poison cloud grows in size over time and inflicts nature damage to all players in it. I do remember that, because after you kill him, you want to go there and loot him, and that poison cloud's still there.
Yep.
So if you're about to die and you run into it, you're going to die. And then also Poison Bolt. He shoots poison at a player, inflicting nature damage, then additional nature damage every 3 seconds for 9 seconds. Now, this is really a fairly difficult fight, and heavily reliant on crowd control to survive the 4 waves of Felorks that becomes before Ragok himself. Now, most players have found it helpful to have priests or warlocks use AoE fear abilities, or AoE snare like the Hunter's Frost Trap or Shaman's Earthbind Totem as each wave emerges to give the group a little more time to prepare. There are 4 waves of orcs and they come from each of the 4 cages on the sides of the room. The cages always open in a specific order, which follows the shape of a Z. If you're standing at the lever facing the boss in the next room, the first cage opens is directly to your left, the second is directly to your right, the third is to your left and then the back, and the last cage is to your right and then the back. So there you go. Now you know which order to go. To start the fight, have the tank stand next to the first cage and have someone else pull the lever. When the cage opens, the tank should then use any AoE abilities such as Consecration for the Paladin, Swipe for a Bear Druid, and Thunderclap for Warriors, or Death and Decay for Death Knights. But Death Knights are not out yet, so I don't know why I read that. But anyways, each successive cage opens immediately when the last orc from the prior cage dies. To ensure that the tank is the one that will be hit first by each wave, the tank always needs to be standing in front of the next cage door when the last orc in a wave dies, so that the tank is ready to face the next wave. From a tanking perspective, moving the mob to the next door prior to it dying easily makes this part of the counter much easier. So assign one person to the party as a main assist, so that everyone is attacking the same target to make it easier for the tank to hold aggro, since it can be difficult to quickly mark mobs for a kill/CC order. Then using any CC abilities on the other orcs as necessary, such as Fear, Freezing Trap, Polymorph, in order to help the tank with aggro management and to decrease damage to the tank. Never leave combat between each wave of mobs, so there is no time to stop and drink. The non-stop combat puts a heavy strain on mana, so it's best to use potions early and have mana regenerating consumables for the encounter, and if there's time near the end of the wave, use bandages to conserve the healer's mana. If possible, keep the last orc from each wave CC for a while to give the healers time to regenerate mana and get everyone back to full health. This is especially useful on the last wave, since that's when the boss enters the room. Now for Brogok. Now, after he enters the room, he drops rings of poison on the ground directly beneath him, so that he will slowly expand outward. The tank and melee DPS will need to move to avoid taking damage from these rings. He also has an AoE poison bolt with a dot component that will need to be dispelled if possible. Beware, the poison ring also persists for a time after his death and can still kill party members at that point, so watch where you're standing even after the fight is over. There's usually a ring that is under his body when he dies as well, so be careful looting him. And he can drop 1 or 2 of 5 items. Cloth waist piece called Arcing Bracers. 7 armor, 11 intellect, 16 stamina, and 7 versatility. Gotta be level 61. Gotta be level 61 to equip any of these, by the way. And then a trinket, 27 intellect. Reduces the cost of your next spell cast within 10 seconds by up to 215 mana, that's if you use it. Then cloth hands called... Oh, the last one was Lazy's Light Channeler. And this cloth hands is Bloody Surgeon's Mitts. Oh, my mage had these. 9 armor, 14 intellect, 21 stamina, 8 versatility. It's got 2 prismatic sockets, and if you got them socketed, it's got a +3 versatility. And then leather legs called Kilt of the Night Strider. It's got 21 armor, 18 intellect or agility, 28 stamina, and 12 versatility. 3 prismatic sockets, and if you got them all socketed, it's +4 versatility. And then a gun called Legion Blunderbuss. It's got 70.7 damage per second with 12 agility and 14 stamina.
Okay, I just wanted to add on to this fight. And I know some of this stuff because it happened to me. They did fix the bugs, but not immediately. So when this comes out, these bugs are more than likely going to still be in the game. Just something to think about. Fearing ads can cause a bug to where if they run into the cell mob with the other orcs, it can aggro those orcs as well. So you could get 2 groups of orcs by accident.
Well, they're supposedly going to fix the bugs before they get it out, but just in case.
Yeah. That's just one of the main ones that I really remember. There are some other ones, but they weren't big. But that was the main one because I know people like to use fear. So,
yeah.
I just wanted to kind of go, kind of reiterate, there could be bugs. They're supposed to fix them, but we watched. We all know Blizzard. Sometimes they can forget. They're human, just like we are. All right. After you kill him, you're going to come down to Caledon the Breaker. He is he's a fell orc. We love the fell orcs. He has quite a few abilities, and other as well as other things that go on. There's when you come up to him, there's going to be 5 Shadow Moon Channelers that defend Caledon the Breaker during his fell ritual. They will cast Shadow Bolt, and they will cast Mark of Shadow. It increases the shadow damage taken for 2 minutes. Now, let me tell you, if all 5 of them put that debuff on one person, and then all 5 of them shoot that person with a Shadow Bolt, they're going to die. That's the only way they're going to die. Caledon the Breaker himself, once all the channelers are defeated, now you can go around, you'll have to kill these channelers first, and we'll tell you how to do that in a minute. Caledon the Breaker himself casts Shadow Bolt Volley, which hits all players. He casts a Corruption, we know what that is. Casts the Burning Nova, which he banishes himself, making himself invulnerable, and begins to cast a Fire Nova. The Fire Nova inflicts fire damage to all players. Once he completes his cast, that thing you want to get out of, because that will kill you. When he starts to banish himself, run away from him. Just get away. And then he has a Shadow Wrath ability where he'll deal 2250 to 2750 shadow damage to the player. Now the strategy for this boss, the Caledon counter is composed of 2 phases. Like I said, you can have a priest or a paladin use a Prayer of Shadow Protection or Shadow Resistance Aura, Dispel Magic or Cleanse, for the shadow, for the debuff. His 5 Warlock Companions must be killed individually. They're not very strong, and the party can crowd control 2 or 3 of them, so it's easier to survive the encounter. If there isn't any crowd control, then just have your tank pull 4 or 5. Pull the 4 or 5 warlocks into a corner and kill them from there. Let's see. You can clump them up in the doorway, and you can AoE them. Be sure to have your tank stationed near the door for when Caledon aggros. This can be made more easy if you have a warlock in the group that could enslave one of the Fel Guards just outside the room. The Fel Guard can take the first phase easily. This cannot be done in heroic mode, which we don't even talk about. Yeah. The warlocks will cast Shadow Bolt, causing about 1,000 shadow damage. They'll cast Mark of the Shadow, which means you take 1,100 extra damage. So if all 5 of them hit you with that, what is that? 5,500 damage plus 5,000 more. So you're taking 10,500 damage at one shot. That's a lot of damage. It has a short casting time. It's possible to remove the debuff immediately, and don't let all the warlocks gang up on one character if you can't dispel the debuff. Like I said, or that character is dead. So just make sure you dispel the debuff, and it goes pretty easy, or kill them pretty quickly. Once the warlock is dead, Caledon will come for the party, and he casts Shadow Volley, dealing 1,000 damage to all players within 40 yards. Caledon will also occasionally yell, "Closer, come closer," and burn. And that's really scary when he says that. And he will stand in one place, immune to all damage for a few seconds, and suddenly blasting a burning nova, dealing fire damage to anyone in the radius. And it's huge radius. Usually the tank and any melee DPS should run away from him. Don't back up, turn around and run away when he begins his yell, and you'll avoid the damage completely. However, if No one in the radius of Burning Nova, he will cast Shadow Volt Volley at everyone. So, do you want to take the fire damage or do you want to take the Shadow Bolt Volley? Shadow Bolt Volley is going to be better because that fire can kill you. After killing him, I mean, it's pretty much like that. It's tank and spank. He doesn't have any like frontal cone AoEs or anything like that, so it doesn't matter where you stand. As long as melee, get out when he starts to yell, and if you have range,
But yeah, I mean,
just
I'm pretty happy
stay
with
back.
we're doing right now. And
usually you have somebody that can debuff, so or they can dispel. So have them dispel the debuff and any kind of shadow resistance aura or anything that you can run for shadow protection. You'll want to run it. If you can run that stuff, it's really easy. He doesn't have a whole lot of hit points. He's a caster, so you should be able to kill him pretty quick. He drops some pretty decent gear. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Mantle of the Dusk Dweller. It's a leather armor piece. For your shoulders, 18 armor, 14 agility, 26 stamina, and 9 critical strike. Mind Fire Waistband, which is a cloth armor piece, 8 armor. Goes on your waist.
Kind of suggestions
14
then
intellect,
on
21 stamina, 5 crit, 8 versatility.
yeah, guys, I'll play
2
Batman
prismatic
before, why not?
sockets, which means if you get those 2, you get 3 critical strike on top of it. Then you come to this is actually what I ran for with my mage for a long time. The Raiments of Divine Authority. They are a cloth leather piece, or they're a cloth chest piece with 15 armor, 8 intellect, 28 stamina, 12 versatility, 3 sockets, and with the 3 sockets you get 6 more stand. Now that's actually a warlock item, but I wanted it for my mage because I always took aggro and I wanted to stay alive longer.
Yep.
They also drops an axe, and this really cool looking axe is called the Song Howling X. It is a 2-handed axe, 70.3 damage per second, 37 stam, and 80 attack power. Any hunter is going to take that from you. And then you got the Vest of Vengeance, which is a leather chest piece. It's got 19 agility, 25 stamina, 8 crit rating, 3 sockets, and if you get those 3 sockets, you get 4 dodge.
Good druid. Druid take.
Yeah, it's a really nice druid piece, actually.
That's the last one for Blood Furnace.
Yeah.
Now we can move on to Shattered Hall. Now, this is a level 70 elite instance, being the 3rd wing of Hellfire Citadel, with Kargath Blade Fist as the final boss. The instance is one of the first in-game instances in the Burning Crusade that players will. Now, I'm throwing this in there because it isn't Hellfire initially. You're not going to want to do this as your 3rd one because, well, you're not 70. So the background is, for years, this gargantuan fortress was thought to be abandoned. It was now inhabited by marauding bands of red, furious Bellords. And this background was in every one of them. So I'm going to cut this part out. So cut. Alright, now, Shattered Halls has a very straight layout with only one way to go. Several increasingly large packs test the group's focus and crowd control or AoE ability. The most difficult being the last one before the first boss. A rogue can lockpick the door to Grand Warlock Nether Curse, or to interfere with a elemental Seathorium charge. Words are hard. That could blow it open. And thus avoid the sewers, an area with large groups of slime mobs and several single ones on a fast respawn timer.
Yeah, that's that place that you just kind of jump down, you run through, you run to the other side, and then you kill the mobs.
Yeah. Which we can skip that, cool, but if not,
yeah.
oh well. Now, after Nether Curse, you enter the Gauntlet event. Archers from the far side will shoot fireball arrows that leave burning spots on the ground while you fight your way ahead. There are some static mobs as well as small packs that continuously spawn at the end and come your way. All these mobs are not elite. The respawn is on a static timer. Thus, if you kill them fast enough, you will leave combat. Depending on your group, we either kill them one pack at a time or run right through to the last alcove and AoE them down all at once. So if you got a
Usually
really
we
good
run.
group, then you can do that.
Yeah, well, we remember most of the time we ran halfway through, killed them, then
Oh
popped out. That's that
yeah,
little corridor
yeah.
and ran the west right through and killed them.
At the end of the Gauntlet on heroic mode, I'm not going to talk about it.
But you do encounter 2 more large flank packs with gladiators in them, even if it's not on hard. You still have I think there's 2 packs. Yeah.
So I will let you talk about the Grand Warlock Nether Curse.
All right, because hold on here. I'm just trying to get my bearings about me for this.
Yeah, this one was kind of weird. I had to figure out which one to click.
Okay, Grand Warlock Nether Curse. He has 4 abilities. He has a Shadow Cleave. I'm not going to explain it. It's Cleave that does shadow damage. Yeah. He's got Death Coil, Lesser Shadow Fissure. For people that don't know that, it's a fissure under a player, inflicting shadow damage. Move out of the fire.
Yeah. Run away, little girl, run away.
Yeah. Dark Spin. When he reaches 25% remaining health, he spins wildly, inflicting physical damage to all players. And he hurls bolts of dark magic. Kind of just get away from him. When you approach Grand Warlock Nether Curse, he will have 4 non-elite Fel Orc converts standing in front of him. After the 4th of these are killed, and the order doesn't matter, just the 4th one dies, he'll attack the group. Nether Curse has some humorous quips to say while the party is killing the Fel converts. If the group takes too long to kill the last of the 4, Nether Curse